had a bit of a, wow, I didn't realize that moment today. I was on Discord and there was some talk about ROMs and ROM sets for older consoles. And I don't know why, but for some reason I thought, how many retro consoles could you fit an entire ROM set in for some of these current gen AAA titles? I'm talking size-wise. ROM size for most Genesis games aren't that big. And if you go to the NES and the Master System, Atari, it gets even smaller. But looking at, you have gigs and gigs. I mean, there's games that are getting upwards and over 100 gigs. But how many complete ROM sets could you fit in that 100 gigs? I haven't gone around and looked. I don't know how big the Saturn library is. I don't know how big the Dreamcast library, anything like that. But made me just wonder, it was like, what do we really get with all this extra file size? Graphics look a little bit nicer, yeah. I mean, some games, there's more open world games. I know Starflight was a big open world game at the time when it came out. And there was a lot you can do in that game. And when you beat the game, you can keep playing the game. Because there's so much to go out and explore and do and find, and it's a really cool game. But have we gotten enough benefit out of these huge file sizes? How much of it is really just shinier graphics? It looks a little bit nicer, so I mean, I've never been a huge, oh yeah, the graphics have to be top notch. Being a big PC gamer and not wanting to upgrade all the time, and I never really want to buy a top tier computer. A lot of times when I'm playing games, I have to turn stuff down. I have to turn the graphic settings down, which is nice because then I can still play games and I don't really have to worry about generations. But I was more into PC games probably, a decade ago. Still like to play them. But I don't play a ton of PC games now. I don't play a ton of modern stuff. But I don't really think that the trade-off... Oh, I pressed the light. I don't think the trade-off is there. I don't think we're really getting anything great out of these new games compared to what we could have gotten then, outside of these graphical updates, which a lot of times I don't think it's really worth it. I'd rather get into the game and with little to no load time, which they've made headway with that, but I'd also rather have the space on my hard drives. I mean, every time the Master Chief Collection has an update, it feels like you almost have to download the whole thing. Rocket League gets an update. Oh, well, you're going to be here a while. There's 20 gigs. But I mean, what is the big benefit of all the fancy stuff that we're getting? I just don't know if I think it's really worth it, like the trade-off. Especially now that things are going digital, which that's a topic for another day. Getting back to the main thing, I was just really surprised to think of, wow, a modern game, 100 gigs. We'll just use that as a point of reference. Pretty sure you could fit the NES, the SNES, the Atari, ColecoVision, television, even the Commodore 64, which has thousands and thousands of games. But PlayStation 2, maybe. There's lots of games for both of those consoles, but I mean, could you take like, all right, everything from the 5th generation and 6th generation, if you took all those games and tabulated all the sizes, is it comparable to what one big modern day AAA game takes? And I think you could fit a lot of consoles. Like, man, you could fit a lot of console libraries, what it takes for like one of those big games now. It makes you wonder, is it really worth it? Is the game that much better? Is the gameplay that much better? It feels like consoles don't even get all of the hardware pushed to the limits by the time the generation is over. Which I hope console generations are over. There's no such thing on PCs. Most of PC game library is backwards compatible. You have to use something like DOSBox for old DOS games, but they run great. The cool thing is now you don't have to worry about the Sound Blaster settings and anything else. I remember going to Costco and getting a game for the PC, and it needed a mouse, and we didn't have one. So I got the home game, got it installed, got it ready to run, and we had to go get a mouse. And then there were some games that we had to mess around with the memory so that we had enough memory to play them. What is that? I'm trying to think, outside of graphics, what is the big leap that we've got with current games? I just don't know. Everything's going to get overpriced, and I don't know if I'm even going to release this one. I think I might think on it some more, do another one.